special edition of the press and civic engagements on a very special day for the Republic of Salone. Today, Salone assumed the historic and prestigious position as president of the United Nations Security Council. For mark this day, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation convened this very special press engagement for go in depth into the journey, the process, the agenda, and the implications for this huge day in the history of the Republic of Sierra Leone. I want to take this opportunity first to say congratulations to every Sierra Leonean. It's a day of national pride. It's a day that we should all see the way we waka. We for waka be we age up. So now we bang now we so. We're not just inside the Security Council, but now we're now president of the Security Council. And for congratulate the first gentleman of the state, His Excellency, retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Mada Wani Bio, for his vision, for his leadership, and his strategy, we bring we to this historic occasion. We keynote and major speaker here today, na the minister we God puts the blessing back for let it be the minister we take we actually for assume first we position at the Security Council and now the presidency. The dynamic, and we can say for the very first time, Alhaji. I don't congratulate her. You know, once now clap for her. The man had a new, brand new Alhaji. El Haj, Honorable Alhaji Timothy Musa Kaba, the country in Dynamic Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. We're also privileged to be joined by we mommy, a very experienced and distinguished public professional and public servants, the Honorable Frances Algali, when the Deputy Minister, we will talk specifically about part of the agenda of the tenure at the Security Council. And on my left, now what I will call a true foreign diplomat professional at this country, one of the top, we at the backbone of the foreign and diplomatic service at this country, the Deputy Director General for Policy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Alan Loga. So without further ado, Mr. Minister, this is your day. This is the day for Salone, and you the lead. This platform now follow you explain what this mean, what are the implications, and what we hope for achieve as a country within this very privileged position.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister, Honorable Chadno Ba, and I want to say good afternoon to the people of Sierra Leone. And today is a very historic day, an epoch-making day in the history of our country, simply because after 53 years, Sierra Leone day back at the Security Council since January of this year. For the next couple of months of 2025 and the whole of 2024 and the whole of 2025, Sierra Leone will continue for the Security Council. But today, the 1st of August, we don't assume the presidency of the world in most premier institution or council were responsible for the maintenance of global peace and security. And we can say, despite the size of our economy and the size of our geography, our country, Sierra Leone being at the world stage today for provide stewardship for the work of the Security Council for the next 30 days. That's a very important milestone and a very important historic moment for our country. This week, we don't talk about the Security Council, what we plan for do in the Security Council, and what we don't do the past 7 months in the Security Council. On the 1st of January, where we assume we non-permanent seat in the Security Council, we come at a time where the world gets many, many crises that we go on. Notably, we get the Israel-Palestine crisis, where it don't draw the attention of every member or organization of the world, especially with the carnage where they go on right now inside Gaza. And also, we don't get for deal with the Russia-Ukraine conflict amongst many of the conflicts that within the world, including also the notorious conflict within Sudan, where it don't cause over 10 million displaced people in Sudan. And also, we therefore deal with the West African situation, where we don't see an uptick in the unconstitutional takeover of power in West Africa. And so Sierra Leone in the council don't deal with all of these critical issues. And we're dealing with these critical issues. We don't take positions of reason. We don't take positions based on principles. Because alone, we don't then know we for be a country, when a peacemaking country, a country where they make decisions at the international and national stage based on the principles that we believe in: fairness, justice for all. So today, I get Naya, na my right hand side, my very right hand side, I get my young guardian angel. The first way they make me work, they become possible. When I'm the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, we go speak to the second half of the presidency, when are the aspect of women and youth in peace and security. Then I get an expert when I'm the Deputy Director General for Policy, where I go one today, because I don't talk this week, in at the engine, one of the machineries inside the ministry, where they deal with multilateral business of the ministry. Mr. Logan will speak to the signature event, the event where His Excellency the President get for chair on the 12th of August at the Security Council. And then me go help for also work with them as the questions in the camp and as we explain with foreign policy. Thank you, Mr. Cherno, and then you can pose the question to the two other people.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much, the distinguished Honorable Minister, Alhaji Timothy Musa Kaba. Auntie Frances,
you very much.
the rock, as the minister say, because we're making work possible. This wants for commend you as well and congratulate you for your leadership and your support. And ask for you talk a little bit about the agenda, especially on the second half, focused on women, youth, and peace and security. Everything Sierra Leone they bring to the table, everything Sierra Leone hope for achieve as part of the conversations at this highest level at the UN Security Council. Over to you, madam.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Chairman, journalists, colleagues there on the morning. Why we be going to Security Council? We've been prioritized certain things there. What we say we Sierra Leone dey now Security Council. Are there agenda here we go promote? And one of the agenda we say we go promote now women, peace and security, that the Security Council. The Security Council in agenda for women, peace and security basically get 4 pillars. Then say in any conflict situation, where they look at women, peace and security, you therefore look at women's participation on peace and security issues. Other than go be the leaders, them, other than go be part of the discussion, other than go be part of the debate, you must include women there. The Security Council also say that we for protect women them in times of conflict. The architecture where then they put for any United Nations peacekeeping architecture get for look at the protection of women. The pillar also say then for prevent atrocities and violence against women during conflict. We all know say sexual and gender-based violence can be always rampant during conflict. And then they say we for consider relief and recovery of women then during times of conflict. So then 4 pillars then they now alone say where the owner Security Council, it go throw light on, it go focus on as part of a priority. Because on our notice we get a unique experience as a result of the Rebel War. We all know the role where women then play for end the Rebel War. We all know some of the initiatives then where civil societies then take for bringing women and Ghana for the part of the peace architecture. So Sierra Leone say Ghana also will be part of the priority at the Security Council. Not only women, but youth, for be part of any peace and security architecture. The first activity we'll get for you as part of the presidency now for hold the debate on women, peace and security. We dey focus on particularly West Africa and countries them where the United Nations, because of maybe finances or other issues, don't scale down or don't draw down the peacekeeping operations there that their area will be. So we dey try to bring that situation there to member states then at the United Nations Security Council for talk to them for see how they go support them country then they for maintain the 4 pillars where the United Nations Security Council don dey try for promote when it comes to women, peace and security. So we dey get that debate day on the 7th of August at the United Nations Security Council, and we dey ask member states there, for example, for tell me how then they support women leadership, including the full meaning and participation in political and peace building. Of course, Sierra Leone is shining example. We don't pass the Jury Act. We don't see how women participation not increase as a result of the Jury Act. We also ask them for throw light on measures then where them go take for prevent sexual and gender-based violence against Sierra Leone. Can talk about that. On our remember the emergency where the president been declared against sexual and gender-based violence and some of the initiatives that will take. Then we also ask member states then for bring recommendations where they will bring to the Security Council on how we go continue for support the women, peace and security agenda of the United Nations. So that day, that part of the activities and one of the first activities there we go take place at the United Nations Security Council and we Sierra Leone go lead at the United Nations Security Council. I tell now thank you for this.
All right, you see what actually said at the backbone?
Turn your microphone. It's now. And then I need to go first. Yeah. Okay. Don't go down. All right. That's not the voice of experience and the voice of substance. I don't want to miss the headline day. Salon will call the whole world for talk about how them for advance human rights and for protect women, young people in conflicts and protect them from sexual abuse and harm. This we country in a salon because of the leadership of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio and the incredible thing they want to achieve now. Now I don't give you this platform where we did at the Security Council and are we the lead the global conversation on this issue. Before I cancel Mr. Logan, I just want to acknowledge, say we get here with General Consul from the Salone Consulate in Miami, Consul Hamilton. Good to see you always, my brother. We get the Director of Comms from State House, the one and only Mike Bewa. You don't need introduction. All man I Sabia. And one of the man they will go good school for una week in the check. Now one get good school there, Albert Academy. Mr. Minister, women are chairman. Elect Karina host. No one get the mic here. The man want look me by the yard afraid. I'm afraid. All right. Welcome to you, Mr. Logan. Consummate professional. You know the agenda. You know what they do. You know one of the finest foreign professional there I don't get the privilege to work with for many years and know. So Salon Dinner Security Council, people want to know the substance of our agenda, which we focus on, waiting at the content of the debates and the open debates and conversations. And Deputy Minister don't highlight some of them, but we can't so you know for like bring our home and then we open for questions and answers.
Okay, thank you very much, Minister, and thank you very much, Mr. Minister, for describing me in those very flattering terms. Well, as the Minister was explaining, the Deputy Minister, we go into the Security Council with set priorities. When we get 7 priorities, they will develop and will add to 8 priorities. And among them priorities today, as the Deputy mentioned, women, peace and security was one. Another key priority, and that was a priority that was directed by His Excellency the President, that we prioritize Security Council reform of the Security Council, which that means. Sierra Leone, under the guidance of His Excellency the President, now in the coordinate Security Council reform on behalf of the African continent. What does that mean? It means the African Union give the mandate to Sierra Leone for coordinate, for canvas, for lobby, for engage, for defend something we call the Common African Position. We normally say the Security Council comprised of 5 permanent members. Among the 5 permanent members, Africa not be. But yet still 60 to 70% of the decisions that they take at the Security Council, the decisions that will affect Africa, yet will not get representation inside it. So the Africa they try for they reform the Security Council and will come on African position say they ask for 2 seats in the permanent category of the Security Council, because since 80 years we have not formed the Security Council, Africa not represented. But also they ask for 2 additional seats that the non-permanent category will be so that we will create a balance, so that will bring the number of seats they will then allocate to Africa to 5. Now, what does that mean? When the president will go and the what you call the Committee of 10 Heads of States of the African Union for the reform of the Security Council, the summit will be called na Oyala, na Equatorial Guinea. Informing colleagues and say, for the first time, it will bring the discussion of Security Council reform inside the chamber of the Security Council.
Yes,
this is a discussion whether it take place inside the council. So he gave that instructions to us, to the minister, and to the mission, and now we have it as an agenda item. So which we don't do, which the president do, he also invite some of his colleagues, citizen members, to be present, so that that discussion they would take place inside the Security Council. And how we can go inside? We say, let them look at the historic injustice we have not met against Africa for the past 80 years. We have not been represented, but yes, still majority of the decisions that they affect me. So it's just like say we are there without representation. Also, the not just the imbalance it is not a democratic process. Some countries then get power, elect all man don't agree. One person they grab number, say I don't agree, still get victory. So all the discourse, the decision making in the country bind. So what they say now, they come an African position with the champion for say, we they go on the Security Council, but even if we not believe in the veto because we believe in undemocratic, but if we they go there and we they ask and as a matter of justice, if other countries they get veto, we say for the veto as a continent. Yes. So this important discussion, small as we are Sierra Leone has been leading it, defending it perfectly for several years. And the president has found it properly. This is like an icing on the cake. We don't take the discussion go inside the Security Council. So what would they ask countries now? Now for support to other countries then say from going inside the Security Council, we believe say now for the day, but we believe say now we get special case. Because now we're the only continent, the only major continent we're not inside. So on the 12th of August, one of the signature events, the deputy minister mentioned, so we had two signature events. One of the signature events, now in president they go preside over and share that discussion. They go ask for that country how do I intend to now for support Africa for level safeguard inside this council. So thank you very much, Mr. Minister. I think I hope I don't do some justice to the intervention. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Hey, you talking?
I remember we have been small and they follow politics. Anytime they mention Security Council and Salone in the same sentence, with a shake. The question have been whether a sanction they don't put away. No, it was true. Security Council don't decide for do this to we. Then they expand or extend the deadline of the mission within there, the UN mission. It was a big thing. But today, as Sidon have for tell say, the effective chair, president of the Security Council, Naya Sidon next so. This country, Salone, when we now been there on the table, now we then the talk about. See, they will not just stay at the table, but now we sit down at the hem of the table. We will not just go there. Like how Mr. Logan just talked. For the first time, they don't debate for years academics. You are go grad school, one of the big paper they hold a review now for reform of the Security Council. For years, they talk about that. The country where they can go, the conversation on the reform of the Security Council. So the Security Council itself, now the Republic of Salone. Clap for this country. This is a true moment of President Bio in selflessness, in courage. He decided for use in presidency, not for Salone advance alone. He said, no, fix the whole problem, no reform them for everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is an idea of great pride. Now we go on the microphone for ask any and all questions. As usual, now we respect the basic rules. We know me now say me a stickler of rules. You put up your hand, you tell the name and the institution where you come out, and you ask the question. We'll take 5. The minister and the team here will respond, and then we see how much more we will take after that. So let's see the hands go up. The one they will ask. Okay, then one by one, I want to count all the 5 before they go. So if you have a question, you
ask if anybody get passport.
Yes, the minister want to know if you count your passport for ask the question. For demonstrate say you're a citizen. I'm Mr. Kama, you go. Go ahead. You can just talk for me and I.
Now, we almost say, topographic population, Africa is much more larger than all the five members. Security Council. What if they say the membership to the Security Council, permanent membership is first. On the socio-economic wealth of a nation, the financial wealth, industrial wealth, where people say the AU, tell Africa, go up to the table I talk to, we have to combine to force them together for making the one. What would you do? Second question. Leone is a member of the non-aligned movement. We all know that.
Any question?
For decades of years ago, we now absolutely come together from the Pacific, the Caribbean, and the African countries. Now one day come together for advocate for one permanent seat in the UN. Right? Now we take a venture at the very short time. Excellence to the president. What does the president say? What can the president say? I've done my best to project Africa. But the problem is that Africa itself has its own problem. Hence, when it comes to the AU and the ECOWAS in question, and they always fail African citizens there because they negotiate, for example, the question of Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, which of course, if it concerns the strength of ECOWAS, those people that have not been left in a military regime, where they come up from ECOWAS, not absolutely done, no embargo has been done, and people are still being enslaved. Say three. We get quite a lot of issues the way the West.
I ask Laura put up in her hand, nobody not put up in hand. So he will put up in hand, let the ask first. Yes.
The West in Africa. That's one. And it comes to Africa, say they shop wall in we are like that. On that, President Bill threw out a red notice and said he come to President that the question of Africa is not to talk too much. Now, but follow me, then we'll come to one, do it now. If we actually, this is an indication of what he has done. But we got quite a lot of cases and issues in Africa between presidents, the other African states, they're still subject to imperialism. They're still subject to the colonialism. What you go say, what if they get Israel, so we are okay for one seat in Africa or two seats in Africa?
All right. Okay. Mr. Kama, you don't present quite a few probabilities. Just say, what if? What if? So, hypotheticals. No one for Urikandi. So, we'll take a few more. And I don't note them. And yes, sir. Mike didn't hear you, but you can talk. Could hear you?
I'm the deputy director for two signatory events on the trip. But in real life, I'm only one. We say chaired by the president. We're not going to second event.
All right, wait now the other question.
Then number two, this pushover assume. Now we get the Sahelian country, the way they say the party, the money they left on the east. Because they want to treat their own people. Now we're able to do anything for persuade their three countries, the way they want from, the way they want to market to us, the way they want from their own people. Now we will persuade them so that they will be active members of not only ECOWAS, but the UN.
Thank you. Good questions. I'll take one more. You had me there? Yes, go ahead.
A lot about global politics in general. Reflection to don't reflect in mind back to the back of the direction of 1917. Very critical something. They say they are for hand, they always say they play. I said good. But they also assume position. What do you think as a country we need for like advice this country for the country they are getting about this? Thank you so much.
All right, I think we don't get enough questions for let's take the answer them and then we'll come back. We'll come back for another round. So let's do this round for now. Mr. Minister, you should start. Use this.
All right. Thank you very much, General. And make us start with the last question. Israel-Palestine conflict. It's a conflict, a very protracted conflict we don't know since after 1960s. The conflict between Israel and Palestine. But Sierra Leone, throughout the period, throughout the conflict, throughout this history, Sierra Leone don't always call for the two states then for leave side by side, Israel and Palestine, and the intensification of the conflict, where it starts, this new phase of the conflict will start on the 7th of October, 2023. Sierra Leone came at the Security Council on the 1st of January, and on every occasion where the question of Palestine don't come at the Security Council, Sierra Leone don't support the existence of Palestine vis-a-vis the existence of Israel. The 7th October attack on Israel, Sierra Leone condemned as a terrorist act, a dastardly, gruesome act where we condemn, but equally so, Sierra Leone don't condemn strongest terms the aggression against the people of Palestine in Gaza and in Rafah. We say over 40,000 people that don't die as a result of the conflict, mostly women and children, and over 3 million people don't displace from them, from the homes then. So we don't use the opportunity within our Security Council for condemn the violence, call for ceasefire. We don't vote in all the resolutions that we don't come, not the council, for permanent ceasefire. We will continue to raise our voice. On the 19th of April, we see when Palestine come and declare, say they want to be incorporated into the United Nations body. I was there as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Sierra Leone supported the admission of Palestine to the United Nations body. We believe, say, that justice, that legitimacy of a state for exist as a state of Palestine, the people of Palestine deserve them. That is a very complex conflict. Up to date, the two sides and all cease the violence, but we continue for a call on all the parties for stop the violence and for allow humanitarian aid, for also allow for reconstruction and for bring back Palestine and Israel for make them live side by side as two neighbors, different sovereignty, but as neighbors. So that is what we're doing in the Security Council. On the two signature events, and that is why I chose for make me Deputy Director on Policy speak to the event, the principal signature event, where they come on the 12th, His Excellency the President, now they chair that event, and that event is on the reform of the United Nations Security Council, where that will be chaired by no less a person but His Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio, the President of Sierra Leone. The other part of the presidency, the other signature event, when our women, youth in peace and security, now Our Excellency, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam Frances Algali, now Indigo conduct that open debate day on women and youth in peace and security. This is because President Bio, we know the Jury Act. If me not be minister, we not believe in the Jury Act, now me go throughout the entire month for conduct all the debates then. But I believe say a woman can conduct women's affairs better.
Yes.
And therefore she is, in fact, Leone Cinema, the way we free the president and in women's empowerment business, if they go to Security Council before me go to Security Council. That is consistent, you know, and she is going to conduct that other aspect of the signature event. Of course, we get other debates and other issues that we'll get for deal with throughout the month of August. Mr. Kamara, I think I want to leave Mr. Kamara in question to the Deputy Director of Policy.
Yeah,
because I think he talked about Pan-Africanism and me born after Pan-Africanism coming to us.
But I want to get a Sahel question and whether you use the position for.
Yes, the Sahel, it's unfortunate that West Africa today and Africa in general, we don't get an increase in unconstitutional takeover of government. The three countries of the Sahel don't decide for formatting they call Alliance d'État Sahelian, that which is the alliance of the three Sahel states. They say they want to come out from the ECOWAS body. It's unfortunate because them three countries there together then constitute 15% of the ECOWAS population, right? And that's quite a huge number of people. And in terms of landmass, then get close to 40% of the landmass of ECOWAS. So that is very significant. Even though it is practically difficult for them to divorce themselves from the economic community of West African states, because the nature of the countries, they are all characteristically landlocked countries, which means for the economic activities, they therefore depend on other West African countries. And also, then get a population where culturally act almost similar to countries like Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and all of that. So we get this contiguous cultural interconnections. So therefore, it is very difficult for me to just say, then they come out from the West African bloc. However, it's a political decision. They can make that decision when they want to make the decisions, because they're not sovereign state. But ECOWAS not closed doors completely on the Sahelian countries yet. ECOWAS still don't open conversation. His Excellency the President, many quarters of the world, they call on President Bio for intervene based on his own personal experience as a former military head of state, or we transition Sierra Leone from a military regime to a democratic state, and also we gave up on power at a very crucial time of Sierra Leone in history for go and come back 22 years for become a civilian president. I think it gets a portmanteau of experience where it need for share within colleagues then that the West African states then as Sahel. But also the role of Sierra Leone in the Security Council with respect to West Africa and the Sahel is that the United Nations get an office, what they call the Office of UNOWAS. It is a UN office of West Africa and the Sahel. This office get the responsibility for inform the United Nations on peace, security, and development in West Africa and the Sahel. Unfortunately, from 2021, the kind of attention, support, with that office forget, the office not get them, because certain countries and they, now the Security Council, notably like the Russian Federation, where we don't stop the United Nations Security Council, not for put a presidential statement out for give power to UNOWAS. Amongst the functions of UNOWAS, UNOWAS get the capability for give early warnings on conflict and potential coup d'etats. Because UNOWAS not become very potent, now make perhaps most of the coups that will happen at the Sahel will not be able to predict them and forestall them. What did President Bio do? He promised that the 78th session of the General Assembly, that when Salon take the presidency, we go make sure say we prioritize African security, and particularly the security of West Africa and the Sahel. So this June, most of them have been see where I go Russia. That was the back-end diplomacy. I went to Russia under the instruction of His Excellency the President for go diplomatically cajole the Russians in for me to allow a presidential statement. And we secure that presidential statement through the effort of Sierra Leone and Switzerland. That presidential statement now, they make the United Nations, they focus now on the UNOWAS office, where will help we for give early warnings and for help with peace and security in our sub-region. Thank you.
Elect person no one call himself or lie they call it. Elect no one call his alone self right now. Under President Bio leadership, you must call it. No, but the level of diplomatic engagements, the quality and the substance of the engagements there, the way the world will look at we for solve complex, intractable problems, and the quality of the leadership where President Biodon appoints, with the all across different arms who do this work. Truly breathtaking. Madam Deputy Minister, I think you want to add a few things.
Okay, una dey hear me, eh? I hope they, yeah. I just want to add to waiting the minister say on the signature events there, because somebody dey ask a question, say one great event, the director Logan dey talk about. Indeed, we dey get two signature events. I make them call am signature events. That's not like the icing on the cake. That's not the Security Council reform debate, where His Excellency the chair. Then we dey get another debate on peace building and sustaining peace, where Sierra Leone na in the chair, where the Independent Peace Commission sef go dey there, other briefers dem go dey there for address the Security Council on Sierra Leone in journey, in peace journey. Because state dey people dem dey collect am salon. How salon? Yes. How salon after the war don able for sustain the peace wey we all dey enjoy. So e no easy o. E no easy, but we as a country we don try. I dey always say na salon. Nobody no want for let them say na this person na carry go back to war. So Alexa, we vex stay we can wan shake. We dey withhold, we dey restrain, we dey try for us sit down at table, let we talk. And people they want hear that story dey, and people they want know that journey dey, how we able to maintain the peace. So we get that other signature event day. Then the minister say we get the women peace and security briefing when I go be the first event where Sierra Leone they start with when I meet go chair. Today, 1st of August, the permanent representative in New York, we get a breakfast meeting where they call all the permanent representatives then at New York for take breakfast with them, let them discuss the work of the Security Council. They get a coordinators meeting, they get consultations, then they go discuss the program of work for this 1 month where Sierra Leone go lead. So apart from them two signature events there, we get so many things they will get for do. We get so many briefings there where Sierra Leone get for lead. I don't know when the minister go New York, stay I go see am back. We get for lead so many briefings there. So not to them two events there are so no more. So many events there they will Sierra Leone go lead. And I go once there on all as journalists them. There is a Security Council radio, there is a UN radio and television where they on YouTube. Leone they follow up. This 1 month we'll get this presidency on YouTube. Make una see how Sierra Leone they do invoke now the Security Council.
We will share the link to now. Thank you very much. Deputy Director, quickly so that we will do one more round.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you very much, Deputy, for addressing second signature event. And after the Deputy, we will bring peace building experience with peace building. Within we experience as tragedy during the long period of conflict has now become a product for us, because when we transition to peace, in fact, the peace been so successful that they be used as a model for peacekeeping operations and transitions, post-conflict transitions for all other countries in conflict. So we will use one of the toolkits of peace building for spotlight we will call prevention. So now that discussion then now we will get inside the Security Council on the 21st, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs now will preside over that meeting. So as the Deputy Minister they ask now also for the tune into the UN web for Leone with the help for the coverage, just a unique moment for Sierra Leone. And thank you, Mr. Minister, for giving me the question skillfully like this. Pan-Africanists. You know, say Pan-Africanists think usually very much informed and come out with a favor on progressing the agenda of the continent. The question, if I get the question correctly, is you are pointing to the fact that there is the possibility that two positions can be easily divided. based on economic strength. The common African position is very, very clear to us. We not go into that debate. In fact, other members of the Security Council have even started long before. I'm sure you just mentioned what you mentioned. Then they ask me, well, don't name the countries that will go to the council. We say, not to downgrade the common African position. We say we will vote for 2 seats. Not very seats, the African Union. We self as voters will decide what they will see. Besides the African continent, say what you may. Of course, this is not the new frontier. We're all talking about. Imagine how the resources. Many countries are experiencing good nominal growth, but collectively as a force, you mentioned that we have one of the biggest population. And that also is a young population. That is 70% youth both in South Africa. So these are all things that we see.
Funnily, Kenya as well.
This is the
Ethiopia
for Africa. The second part of the comment is that the differential short time, not to allow this discussion start. It's a difficult discussion, we don't start for a long time. It's just that at this particular time, given the present momentum, the Excellency decides to level here this thing in the Security Council and have views around the table. It's not now, not long. But thank you very much. We will therefore engage you further on the views and Africanism, civil society, we suppose for the engagement and we will therefore get your comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, next questions. Madam Ba.
Okay, I think my voice loud enough.
Yes.
Everybody. So I have 2 questions. The first one, with regards your foreign policy objectives, we outlined in the Constitution. So I just want to know how important this one presidency of Sierra Leone at the United Nations Security Council can look like. As I say, we'll look at the foreign policy objectives as outlined in the Constitution. Second one, where I get the notice about this press conference, I asked me the question to myself several times. Yeah, I remember last week when His Excellency President Julius Malema met the town hall meeting, he mentioned about the UN Security Council. So, main question, why not after the town hall meeting when I decided to hold this press conference, but can also inform journalists about this presidency.
I'll attempt to answer that question. The one same boss. I think today will actually take on the presidency. But I think anybody who don't pay attention knows say we don't talk about this presidency for a long time. The minister don't come twice on this platform. We don't discuss this. He did on 98.1, even this week. He don't need on multiple media platforms. We at the press conference, we don't engage on this issue. Madam Ba, we principle on that you can never have too much information. People can get rights to information. So His Excellency the President do at a very high level, talking to citizens directly. But we want to forgive because we respect UNA, the senior journalist there. Look, we get very distinguished. The President, Chair of the Editors Guild, we get North Korea, then Sri Lanka. We get all the media owners in Dinaya, my brother, and others. So we want to give UNA another opportunity for UNA go in because this is not so small. This we're not able to do enough press engagement for this self. If we want to do this, if we get real money, they do 1 month carnival every day. They dance in a salon. Say UNA president of the Security Council, but we not get the money. So at least, but because we respect UNA, we decide to bring the principle and come. His Excellency will talk at a vision level and a strategy. But they will go like the way deputy director, minister, and deputy. They don't go into technical details. The kind where the minister just talk about Sahel, the politics, and all that. And we assume say UNA interested in that information. So they bring and come down to UNA and I make who can now. Okay. All right. Yes, I go on.
This is a great feat for Salon that I'm having such position in the United Nations. But how this go help to address a small step? I know we help for full respect other countries and either. But how this go help to address a small step we get? Just me and after calling Yenga.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, the name is Amos.
here, I think we don't get a very clear and fancy conversation around the Sahel, but I think we only don't limit it to the unconstitutional removal of democratically elected presidents, where we know, say, the Sahel gets other issues with very important, the issues of jihadists and terrorism. And if you look down at the Sahel, Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Cameroon, DR Congo, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, all of these countries almost been swallowed by terrorism. So how are the presidency of Sahel to address the issue? Because
Thank you.
it's almost stretching out to Africa.
Thank you. That's a good question. I appreciate it. Madam, yes.
Good afternoon, Samuel.
Good afternoon.
I am Adama, and I'm from the United States.
Welcome, Adama.
Defense contractor, U.S. government. Okay. I am here in Sierra Leone on vacation, advocating for individuals with disabilities. So it is an honor to be here for this conference today. I wanted to know how can we prevent such form exploitation using neglect for women with disabilities, because I'm a disability advocate.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's an important point. We're going to address it. I see all the Korean, they will not put una question them together once. Una pick one spokesman. Let answer. Okay, you first and then back. Yes.
If the Lamrana talk, many not talk.
Lama ya no go up it. So okay. So Lama and then you and then Bakar. Lama, you go first.
Lamana South Korean.
Lama in a South Korea, you do? Alright. Zach, so me not for see the man. Yes.
The question about the questions are in the community with you, more counterparts, Mr. Minister. Shalom openly supports Morocco. I know the Algerians are concerned and we are sitting with them, we sit with them at the Security Council. President meets with his Algerian counterparts, and that's one of the issues that will come up. We still hold on to the position of supporting the Moroccans in the Western Sahara issue between the Algerians.
All right, thank you very much. Next. Yes, sir.
Janjalo, the Times Essay newspaper. Thanks to the President and thanks to the government and the people of Sierra Leone for this wonderful opportunity at the Security Council. Now, at least, your own voice will be heard. Anytime we now for take major decisions, Sierra Leone will get at least for mid and input. Something happened, I think yesterday, I believe, they don't capture the attention of the world. And now Sierra Leone part and parcel of the international world will look up to me. Why is this issue happening in Palestine, between Israel and Palestine? You understand what's happening now? Iran recently, we Hamas the leader, who they forgot to attend the function and they killed him. And also, they killed the Hezbollah, the leader, Lebanon. Or is make any statement in relation to that. And there has been a call for ceasefire. So, our road and the position of Sierra Leone in relation to the member.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good questions. Excellent. Bakar, yes.
We call for this escalation.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
But up to now, where was embassy this year? I don't say I'll do embassy in Jerusalem. Why?
This boy, they are like.
Nigeria North Korea question, Andy. Yes, go ahead. I'm brother there. Yes. Yeah, man, go ahead, sir. Start.
Nice democracy.
I find them too compelling for the silence for this.
I get a chance. But I ask you a question now.
The reason being, we all know whose side it starts and we know whose side it collapses. At least a little bit acknowledgement of the past foreign minister, Professor Francis.
All right. Now, I the spare I did spare the minister. Last question, Andy. I did spare the minister, Andy, for. Hold on. I did spare the minister for response to that last question, day. Because as the spokesperson for the government of Salome, I did respond. We all Naya, they serve at the pleasure and the direction of one man, the democratically elected president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. As Minister of Information, what I do, what I not do, it's based on what His Excellency direct and envision. If I know they are today, where other person come, not to Sibaho, and President Bio, because now President Bio, I get it. Now the post who acknowledge Naya today, when are the leader and envision, His Excellency. Obviously, that do not mean say other people will not be done can serve. Now I make us say the way we God give the blessing. I was very careful with my choice of words. The way we God give the blessing for day, for Lord take the seats. Not so in pick himself, not so in decide who. Now in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless. He put the baraka param for let day. So they are now no can pull bush na ya. No one can pull rope. Mr. Minister, we get plenty question them. So I know so you take notes. So go ahead. If you forget anyone, I will remind you.
Okay. Thank you very much, General. Even though you don't answer that question, I just want to, I'm a friend, we don't take another see, we don't make I don't see today. Make you know say this work not to today begin under the instruction of the president, the foreign ministers that were the day before me. They all don't contribute to this work. But like we General say, His Excellency the President, and the architect of the work.
That's it.
So that we give all the praises for in leadership. The work what they do, and they do them by me on direction. And they do them by the vision and direction of His Excellency the President. If another year so tomorrow, now other person will do the work. And besides, my predecessor, now my senior fellow alum, now the Holy Trinity Secondary School, Kenema.
Our village school.
You understand? And a very respectable, very good citizen of mine. Eh? So let now come to the substantive questions. Abdurrahman, I don't see you, sir. Thank you for the question. And the gentleman asked about Yenga. Yenga, now a disturbing reality. For over 2 decades, we don't see the disturbance where the Guinean armed forces, they create at the Yengan territory. But His Excellency the President, with Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Security Forces of Sierra Leone, they intensively engage with the Guinean counterpart, and the diplomatic discussions they go on, and the President don't commit himself to ending that occupancy and go ensure say the Guineans then demobilized and left the Yengan territory. Diplomatic processes can be slow, but they are the surest ways of ending conflict. No matter how long, even physical conflict is, people they always stand up at the table for resolve their disputes. So we believe say Yenga will be resolved because it is not, nobody know they argue the fact say Yenga is Sierra Leonean territory. That is why under the instruction of the president, myself being go Yenga, I go see the encampment. I talk to the Guinean armed forces where they on record for I tell them say that territory we saw them get encamped na Sierra Leonean territory. I told them in their face, and therefore we engage with Conakry for ensure say that territory is returned or is demobilized, and then people then go left with territory in peace. My sister talk about the foreign policy objectives of Sierra Leone. What we do so is say through international cooperation, would they guarantee the maintenance of international peace and security, right? For being at the Security Council, now for able to work with other people in a cooperation framework for ensure say we bring peace and security in the world. People can ask why and what is the importance of this UN Security Council business. The world is a village, and everybody within a village, you always want to be respected in your village. You want to play a significant role in the running of the village. So people will respect you accordingly in the village. And that is what Sierra Leone is doing. In 1972, the very first time we went to the Security Council, in September of 1972, Sierra Leone also played in its presidency a very significant role. And that role now in undergird the relationship, bilateral relationship where they exist between the peoples, between China and Sierra Leone. Now, because of under Sierra Leone presidency, Taiwan gave way to China for let China become a permanent member of the Security Council. And when China became a permanent member of the Security Council, that then get for translate into the construction of U building, the construction of the Sheikh Stevens Stadium, and all those are benefits from Salon in B1 at the Security Council. Today, we don't see, many nations of the world, they're happy for engage with Sierra Leone. May I have your attention, please, sir? Yes, within our Security Council, we will behave accordingly.
And the president of the Security Council will talk.
Thank you very much. So, we see, even when we don't come at the council, this past 7 months, we don't see, nations of the world, they continue for respect Sierra Leone. Everybody want open embassy in Salon. Everybody want make Salon open embassy in their country. That they underscore the credibility where we country they earn overseas. And so that na part of the diplomacy for bring respect to Salon. And in February this year, now the African Union Peace and Security Infrastructure, what they call the AUPS, then get for vote for Salon. 44 countries then vote. Salon score 39 out of the 44 countries will vote. And Salon is also a non-permanent member in the African Union Peace and Security Council. So we sit on now 2 security councils at the moment. So this, they show how respected our country is and the pivotal role our country they play in international peace and security maintenance. Minister Cherno talk about how important President Biodon drive the vision of Sierra Leone. As foreign minister, when I go out of this country, I feel proud that Professor Francis, the one them before him, under the guidance of President Bio, make foreign policy very simple for me. Because where they go, the respectability where Salon get out yonder is very, 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 very visible. Any I go, that respect of Sierra Leone is given, both in multilateral and bilateral engagement. The gentleman spoke about the intractable terrorist activities in the Sahel. It is true. Before now, we may get terrorist groups in the Sahel. But now, we almost get terrorist armies, which we mean say terrorism don't take a different dimension now the Sahel. But the reason why we also very much emphasize on the takeover of government, on democratic lane at the Sahel, now because, take for instance, in Niger, when there was a democratically elected government in Niger, the Americans had a base in Tangier. That military base where the Americans they may get for use them for surveillance and for attack the terrorists then. We make sure say terrorism in Niger been get for go down drastically. But when the military come, then take over, they ask the United States for remove the military base from Niger. Now terrorist activities don't spike up again in Niger. The same thing with Burkina Faso. Now we don't see the Wagners have come to the Sahel and terrorism has become even more rife. So it is really concerning, even for Wina Saloya, because what did happen now the Sahel, we don't see say the terrorism don't they come southwards and westwards. The the only barrier where they between we and Mali and Burkina Faso today, now Guinea. And Guinea also has a military government. We pray for let God keep Guinea together so that terrorism no can west to Liberia and Sierra Leone. So we live in a very, very precarious time, a very dangerous time. So now make we only work for ensure say we find ways and means for able to fight terrorism and also for able to bring 10 countries and day to constitutional rule. Mr. Lamran Abba asked about Sierra Leone's position with respect to the Western Sahara and where we're in Algeria then at the Security Council. But I don't think there is a conflict between Morocco and Algeria. I think the issue of the Western Sahara, within the position where Salom always don't support, now the UN position, which is the Moroccan initiative that has been submitted to the UN for find lasting solution over the Western Sahara, where we know what they call the Moroccan initiative. We believe say that a viable solution, a proposition to the solution of the Western Sahara. So that is our position. One of the gentlemen asked about, say we don't open embassy in Algiers, why we not open embassy in Jerusalem? We know the open embassy in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is not a country. Israel is a country, and the political capital of Israel is Tel Aviv. Anytime we're ready for open embassy in Israel, that embassy will be situated in Tel Aviv. Thank you.
The minister don't talk cool. I think you don't answer all the questions. Which one? Or the Hezbollah Hamas question, yes.
Well, I'm very happy that Madam Deputy Minister Selo they watch the UN radio on YouTube. Sierra Leone, they always call for cessation of violence and de-escalation of violence. When the rocket exchange been there between Israel and Iran, I was in the UN Security Council. I get a brief stakeout and we call for de-escalation. Every statement on Hezbollah, every statement on Iran, Sierra Leone, they call for de-escalation. Sorry, sir? Yes, diplomatically. We are diplomats.
Una peace one.
A peace one. Una next press conference on Ekaya. That's right.
She asked about violence.
Yes.
Oh yes, and people with disabilities. Yes, so Madam Minister, please take that question. Thank you for that question. Yes.
Okay, there was a question on addressing sexual violence against women, particularly women with disabilities. I agree with the person who asked the question. Even though we did fight against sexual violence against women in general, in peace and security, we therefore pay special attention to certain groups. And one of the groups that we mentioned are women with disability, particularly because of their condition. Then category therefore be looked at. But there's always been a legal framework. We don't get a legal framework for address violence against women there. Now, what situation, even as a country, we don't do so much on the legally for trying to put in place laws and policies there for address violence against women. What do we therefore work on are the implementation. And the implementation not only left with government, but it left with all of us as citizens as well. We successful for help government for implement the laws they did for first against violence against women and persons with disability. Where you see something, talk up. Where you see something, try for go at the right place so that people then go address them. Not say not to my business. So with women, peace and security briefing we go get, we go pay special attention to not only women as a whole, but special categories of women. like what you don't mention, women with disabilities, women human rights defenders, aged, old women, and those categories of staff, of people, we go look at them and try to see people and go proper recommendations for improve the situation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think say we don't come, except if there's a burning question. I see you hand me the up one drop.
Well, before the minister interrupted my interruption. Just one minute.
Now one drop, please.
Nine. The one drop here and one drop.
He says I can finish with you. SNP always say, government is national.
So if me na SLPP, you know what it? If me na SLPP, you know what it? Okay. Me being SLPP, I think say I can see right in Panam before now. What them they call Shaka Stevens Stadium. Now the name of the stadium that they not so. But now we national stadium, not so. And Shaka Stevens Stadium, but now we national stadium, not so. One drop. I give you 2 drops.
All right. Make I use this opportunity now for tell una all plenty thank you for una come. We can call una they come. We not take them for granted. This partnership is very, very important to we across governments because they're doing commitments really. Now follow increase this level of engagement and transparency across the government, even as we continue for change the story of this country. We're not going to change that story and that narrative without una and the fourth estates. When I know say when challenging things happen, una they run big headlines, now on a job. But this month, now a month of pride. I want to use this platform for plead with now. Let we reflect that pride. And by the way, one thing we will not mention clearly, I think it be implied. The peace we will not maintain. The success we allow we for the Security Council, not to one government, not to SLPP alone. Now across government. If in the tenure of the APC, that 11 years we are in school, been there, if we not be maintain the peace, we know the house of this today. So this is a national affair. APC, SLPP, NGC, PMDC, all political parties. Now we all don't achieve this incredible feats. So I ask una and the media, the platform, print, electronic, and all others, do ya, allow use the platform they will get this month. Let dedicate time for lift salon above all else. Let show say this country salon. A big pass we all. Now una young PR than I want to tell the minister, the deputy minister, and the deputy DG thank you. I see the director general said in there. I've been mean for acknowledge as well and tell and thank you the director general, now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well for your role in all of this. And we always come for support. We next week Tuesday we get a press conference. Now yeah, we want to tell the minister thank you. We don't the host we for one time making the threats minister and the parents. I say, but we support each other. But we really proud of the achievements we all do make, and I wish you all a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Well done, sir. Chairman, for they continue for the conference, how they pick face.